Hello there, everybody. Welcome to Stories with Torie today. And our weird holiday for the day is amazing. And it's actually today. And if you haven't looked at the calendar, and if this little picture of my little friend saying hello there doesn't give you a hint, it will in a minute. But before we talk about our weird, amazing, awesome holiday of the day, let's review some sign language, but we're just going to review the ones that we've done since we've been home. And the first one was good luck. Remember? Good luck. The next one was stick. Then it was Easter. Then it was a lie, friend. Last week was art. And this week's weird holiday, drum roll. Everybody do drum roll already. And da 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 da. Today is May 4th, or as I like to call it, Star Wars Day, right? On Star Wars, they use the Force. So they say, may the Force be with you. But today, you have to do number 4, and you have to go up to everybody in your house and say, may the 4th be with you. Okay? Be fun. The sign for Star Wars is you get your 2 fingers and it's like you're counting all the stars in the sky. This is stars. And you get your 2 hands and they're at war with each other. So Star Wars. Okay. Our reminder to bring back library books is brought to you by Yoda. And to the library, books must return. So please return your library books to the library for me and Yoda. We'd appreciate it so, so much. The books we are going to read is one of my favorites. They are so funny. They're written and illustrated by Jeffrey Brown, and they're hilarious. They're like comic books. That if Darth Vader really was a father to Luke and Leia, what kind of a father would a pretty popular bad guy be? So these are hilarious, and I couldn't just pick one to read to you. So I actually took pictures of all of my favorite, and I put it on the screen so you could see them really good. So the first one is use the fork, Luke, and see how Luke is using his hands and getting all messy. So instead of using the Force, he said use the fork. Luke, go to the dark side or else. No, I'll never go to the dark side. Never, ever. Can you imagine Luke doing a temper tantrum to Darth Vader? I bet that didn't go over very well. I love this. They're playing baseball with a lightsaber. Zoom, when you see how he splices the baseball right in half. Wow, what's wrong? Greedo pushed me. Well, did you push him first? Luke, come with me. Why? Because it is the only way. Why? Because why? Together we can rule the galaxy as father and son. And then can I have a treat? I think Dad's asleep again. Again? So we meet at last. Behave yourself or my dad will totally kill you. Don't you love it that teenager Princess Leia is bringing home Han Solo to meet his father, her father? Are we there yet? Not yet. How many of you had this kind of conversation with your grown-ups in the car? But I love the thought of this conversation in a TIE fighter. It's hilarious. This isn't the toy you're looking for. Yes, it is. So he's trying to use the Force on Luke, but it doesn't work. And he wants the toy, Jar Jar Binks. I love this, that Darth Vader putting a Band-Aid on Luke. Can you imagine Darth Vader putting a Band-Aid on? I love it. Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper? This is kind of an inside joke for all of you Star Wars fans. And then Darth Maul leapt up and destroyed a Qui-Gon. Can you imagine Darth Vader telling you a scary bedtime story? I think Luke's face tells it all. Be a little terrifying. Don't make bubbles. And I love this when they're fishing. Gets hooked right on his cape. This facility is crude, but it should be adequate to freeze more ice cream. Just drop me off at the corner. It's okay. I can take you right to the front door. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. I would be opposite of embarrassed. If I got dropped off in that thing from school, I'd make the whole school come out and look about how cool what I just got dropped off in. Is that a good guy or a bad guy? Good guy. He looks like a bad guy. Well, he's a good guy. Draw more good guys, people. Is this a good guy or a bad guy? Holy cow, it's definitely a bad guy. You don't have to be scared, see? It's just a Wookiee. I love this. Luke gave Darth Vader a tie for Father's Day. Thank you, my son. And he's thinking, I can't wear this. Can you imagine Darth Vader wearing a tie? It's just so funny, right? I love it. Okay, Taster's Table for the week are very, very fun ones. The first one goes with our weird holiday of Star Wars. And this is Luke Skywalker heads a mission to rescue Han Solo from the clutches of Jabba the Hutt and faces Darth Vader one last time. Featuring stunning retro illustrations, this book is perfect for all of you Star Wars fans. The rest of the week, Taster's Table book goes with our word of the week, which is optimism. Is to think positively, optimism. And the first book is The Last Stop on Market Street. Every Sunday after church, CJ and his grandma ride the bus across town. But today, CJ wonders why they don't own a car like his friend Colby. Why doesn't he have an iPod like the boys on the bus? How come they always have to get off in the dirty part of town? Each question is met with an encouraging answer from his grandma, who is very optimistic and thinks positively. And everybody, look how many awards this book has gotten. This is a fantastic book. The next book is Because Amelia Smiled. And because Amelia smiles as she skips down the street, her neighbor, Mrs. Higgins, smiles too and decides to send a care package of cookies to her grandson Lionel in Mexico. The cookie gives Lionel an idea, and his idea inspires a student who in turn inspires a ballet troupe in England. And the smile kind of keeps traveling, and it puts a unique spin on what goes around comes around. The last book for Taster's Table is The Little Engine That Could, and this is a story of a train filled with toys and gifts for little boys and girls that breaks down before reaching the children. After asking several passing trains for help over the hill, a little blue train agrees to help the stranded toys. This book is a fantastic example of optimism and believing in yourself. Beat Your Teach is still going on. We are on week 9, which is crazy. Keep reading. All of your teachers are reading a lot, and I hope you are too, because we kind of have a lot of time to read. So I hope you're finding that great book with that picture and movie in your head. The first wonder of the week is such a good one. I wonder, what is the story of Star Wars? Me and my family are huge Star Wars fans. We love anything Star Wars. And do you know who else is a fan of Star Wars? Our principal, Mr. Johnson. He loves Star Wars. And if you have any more wonders, you should ask him, because I'm pretty sure he will have the answer. But this whole story of Star Wars is kind of a long story, so it's kind of hard to answer it to you. And I found the funniest, fastest story of Star Wars. Now, this isn't the whole story. This is just a little part in the middle of the Star Wars story. But I love how they did it. They did it out of Legos. This kid is amazing. And he tells the story kind of really fast. So if you know the story of Star Wars, this is really funny. If you don't know the stories of Star Wars, this is really funny. So you'll enjoy it, okay? And here it is.
Once upon a time, there was a boy who lived in the desert. The desert was very boring, but he wanted to have a big adventure one day. Then he met a couple of robots and decided to go save the galaxy. And a pretty girl. So they all went to look for the crazy old man that lives in the desert. He told the boy his dad was a Jedi Knight and gave him a magic sword. Then it was time to go to space, but first they needed a ship and a captain. That guy seemed good. Plus, he had a big hairy sidekick. So they all went to Alderaan, but it exploded, so they went to the Death Star instead. They got chased by some guys, saved the pretty girl, lost the crazy old man, and got away. Then they came back and blew it up. And they all lived happily ever after. Until the bad guys found the secret base and messed everything up. The captain and the pretty girl and the hairy sidekick hid in some space rocks. Well, the boy went to learn to be a real Jedi Knight, just like his dad. But a big monster ate the ship. And the boy wasn't very good at it. So he went to Cloud City, where the captain ran into his best friend in the whole entire galaxy. Sorry, second best. Who betrayed them? Then the boy arrived to save the day. He was a little bit late, and a whole lot in trouble. Maybe he should have practiced. That was when the boy got some very surprising news about his dad. He didn't take it very well. This time they didn't live so happily ever after, especially the captain. So his friends went to rescue him. It didn't go so well, so they tried a different plan. That one didn't go so well either. Fortunately, it all worked out in the end. Unfortunately, the bad guys were building a new Death Star, so the boy and his friends went on a secret mission to go blow it up again, until they got caught by man-eating teddy bears, who became their new friends. The boy spent the day with his dad, and got to meet his dad's boss. Meanwhile, in space, there was a trap! But the new friends fixed things, and the boy's dad saved the day, and the Death Star exploded again, and they all lived happily ever after. Except for that guy. The end.
Don't you love it? Pretty funny, right? Okay, our second wonder of the week is something I have wondered about myself as well. I wonder, could it be possible to really go into light speed? In Star Wars, that's kind of the famous way, as you can see in this little GIF, of they really travel light speed to get to places. And I don't even know the answer myself. So I found this cool video of this very super smart scientist from Georgia Tech, and she will explain to you if it's possible to go into light speed, and if it is, what would we need? And here she is.
What does it mean to make the jump to light speed? First, let's think about what it means to travel at the speed of light. So nothing moves faster than light. Light travels at 186,000 miles per second. So let's take an example. If I want light to go between the sun and the earth, it takes light 8 minutes to make that jump. If we want to travel on a jumbo jet between the earth and the sun, it's going to take us 19 to 20 years to travel that average 93 million miles. So it's obviously a very nice idea to go at the speed of light, but there's some problems with it. The first problem is we're massive. So the more we try to get close to the speed of light, we're getting harder and harder to accelerate, and it's taking more and more energy and fuel to get us up to that speed. And the clocks measure different times. So you're going to be maybe late for your battle, or you'll be too early because time is different on the ship than it is to something stationary. But here's the real problem. We're actually going to be in a galaxy far, far away that maybe it's about the same size as the Milky Way. And it takes light 100,000 years to move from one end of the galaxy to the other. So even if we're going at the speed of light, there's no way Han Solo is going to make it in time for an epic battle by moving 100,000 years across the galaxy. So what we need to do is to take those 2 points in space-time and make them closer. So we want to curve space-time. So when we put on our hyperdrive or our warp drive or whatever we're going to use to power our ship, what we're really doing is not moving faster than the speed of light. We're curving space-time, or we're using a wormhole to tunnel through it, or maybe even going into a higher dimension we don't know about yet, but we're shrinking that distance so we can move faster than it appears we can. The problem is that to curve space-time, we need something we don't actually have, which is called exotic matter, a fancy name for things we don't know how to produce. So if we could create matter that violated the laws of physics that we have today, then we could potentially build up this warp drive, fix the clocks so that we don't arrive either really old or really young for our battle, have the exotic matter get us there, and then protect the ship and ourselves from the forces that would rip us apart. And then we've got ourselves a jump into hyperspace.
Pretty cool, right? Can you imagine traveling at light speed? That's crazy. Okay, the last wonder of the week is I wonder who invented Star Wars. A long time ago, in a galaxy not so far away, before the Empire Struck Back and Jedi's Return, there was a young Padawan director named George Lucas who had this crazy idea for a space opera that almost never made it to the screen. And his story is awesome, kind of like an underdog that we've talked about before. And this is his quote, and I love this quote. The reason I'm making Star Wars is that I want to give young people some sort of a faraway, exciting environment for their imaginations to run around in. I have a strong feeling about interesting kids in space exploration. I want them to want it. I want them to get beyond the basic boring of the moment and think about colonizing Venus and Mars. And the only way it's going to happen is to have some kid fantasize about it, to get his ray gun, jump in his ship, and run off with his Wookiee into outer space. It's our only hope in a way. I love that he invented Star Wars for you, for your imaginations, to look up at the stars and wonder what it'd be like to travel at light speed, get your lightsabers out and do an epic space battle. I love that. His story of how he got Star Wars. I'm just going to move my face around all over the screen so I can read everything. George Lucas shopped around to various Hollywood studios, and a lot of them said no. Can you imagine saying no to Star Wars? And a lot of people did. But however, 20th Century Fox gave him a chance. His early drawings, early scripts, was a little different than what we're used to. Luke Skywalker was kind of this old, grizzled general, and Han Solo was this frog-like alien. Can you see him right up here? That was Han Solo, which, for those of you who know Star Wars, that's kind of weird. Right here is a picture of young George Lucas, and you all know these two. He did not give up. It took George Lucas 5 years and 4 different drafts to complete Star Wars that we know today. This is the first movie poster of Star Wars. It was released in 1977. The budget was $11 million to create, which seems like a lot of money, and it is, but it actually made $513 million, and it's still rising. We love Star Wars. Okay, everybody get out there and go read a book that is out of this world. Bye, guys. Happy reading.